We're going to start with a team that actually made a blockbuster move, trading away a superstar defensive lineman. We are, of course, talking about the Cleveland Browns, and they're trading away Myles Garrett. Some of the additions that the Browns made, they traded for an offensive tackle in Titus Howard. They signed Zion Johnson from, I believe, the Chargers. They traded for Jared Verse in that Myles Garrett move. And then their first two selections in the 2026 draft were Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah, and Casey Concepcion, the electric wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Fellas, the question I have for the Browns that I want you guys to figure out, do the Browns have their long-term answer at quarterback? What I don't have all the way on the screen is on their roster right now. Meaning, is it any of the 4 or 5 guys that are under contract on the roster going forward? Do you think the Browns have their answer?
If it's anybody, it's the guy that you put on the graphic and Shador, but it's the Browns. They will find a way to Browns anything. And it still does feel a little bit crazy to be like, yeah, no, they're going to ruin this 5th round pick. Because, like, at the end of the day, he was still a 5th round selection in the NFL draft. But, like, he seems like the only quarterback on the roster with any sort of potential, other than, I guess, Taylor Green's potential at tight end. But I, I don't know, man. Baker Mayfield taught me to never trust the Browns to handle a quarterback,
Yeah,
along with like 30 others.
Yeah.
yeah. It's an interesting situation because I can tell you who I want playing quarterback for the Browns if I'm a Browns fan, and it's the guy on that graphic right there. I do think that Sanders has
I
the
didn't put
opportunity.
Dylan Gabriel on the graphic. What are you talking about?
Hey, I last year at one point I thought Dylan Gabriel was really the answer for this year because it just seemed like there was too much noise for different reasons for different quarterbacks, and it just didn't make sense. And might as well give him a shot. I still don't get how they ended up in that situation in the first place, but I guess Browns. That's the only way to say it, is the Cleveland Browns. But I don't know. I feel like they did make some good moves this offseason in terms of like trying to help maybe support Sanders or whoever does play quarterback. Like I think they spent a hefty amount of their draft capital on offensive players. Um, but does that mean that it's going to translate into success? Who knows? And with the NFL, no matter what position you're in, especially if you're supposed to be the franchise quarterback, you're given a very short timeline. Especially, I don't know, how does his contract work because he's a fifth rounder. Is he like is his up quicker than other quarterbacks or
No, I think he still has 3 years left of control. So I
okay?
think, yeah, because I think unless you like get cut immediately, I think you get a 4-year contract. It's pretty standard. Now, whether it's like guaranteed or not, I think is like up to the team.
Hmm.
But I want to say he's got 3 more years of control.
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, I mentioned earlier they spent their first 3 picks on offensive players, 2 of them being wide receivers, one of them being an offensive lineman, which that's going to be a huge part. Can they get enough protection for whoever is playing quarterback? Because there's not a ton of elite skilled players as of right now that we know of on the Browns offensive side of the ball. So, um, whoever's quarterback has a tough battle, and I hope it's Sanders actually, which is, if you know me, that's kind of a wild thing to say, but I actually would like to see him get an actual legitimate shot versus last year, which seemed just like a sideshow circus act. Not by Sanders, but by the whole organization, not just one person individually. But um, yeah,
Yeah, one thing, a couple more things about the Browns. Obviously, it's going to be year one of the Todd Munkin crew with the Cleveland Browns. So, year one with the new coach for all the quarterbacks. They had some really good players for them last year. Carson Swessinger, who ended up winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, was an absolute animal on the defensive side of the ball. Harold Fannin Jr. was honestly one of my favorite fantasy like players all year long, and he was like the one bright spot along with Quinshad Judkins that the Browns had on the roster. And they made several moves in their wide receiver room. like I said, with Concepcion and even Denzel Boston in the second round. But what I really want to talk about and get your guys' opinion, because I don't think we've reacted to this since it's happened. I don't think we've had an episode posted in several months. The Myles Garrett trade. We need to address the elephant in the room. How did you, now that we've had weeks and months to like process this, what are your guys' thoughts for the Browns side of things? Do you think they got a good haul? And if you were the Browns, would you have also made the move?
I mean, it might have to refresh my memory of what the actual like return was for Garrett. I know they got, what was it, like a Jared Verse
27 first. Yep.
You got it, Brock?
20. I think it was Jared Verse, 27 first rounder, 28 second round pick, and a 29 third rounder. Yeah. Maybe there was more involved. I can't remember.
Nope.
Okay.
Listen, Jared Verse is a fine ball player. He's not Myles Garrett.
I'm sensing
He's
a
just
butt.
not. Jared Verse does not account for 2 more first round picks. At most, maybe 1. Maybe 1 and like some additional picks in there. Because he is a good ball player. So if we account to like pick value, you're telling me you got 2 first round picks ish, maybe 2 seconds and a third for the greatest defensive player of all time, the guy that just broke the sack record like 6 months ago, and traded him to the team that was like 2 plays away from the Super Bowl. And now they're going to pull Aaron Donald out of the dead. And it sounds like they might get Vita Vea too, just because they hate me. I feel like I said my piece in a lot more concise way in the TikTok that I got uploaded, and I stand on that. I hate you, Cleveland. I hate you.
Joe Kim Noah, best reference ever. That video was great, man. I like.
He went back to Cleveland. Like they posted another video like 2 or 3 years ago of him going back.
Still.
I saw that. Nobody remembers that.
No.
You know what they remember? The press conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to compare NFL and NBA trade packages, but like, and by no means am I saying that this player is even on the same levels as Myles Garrett, but like, it's just another example of someone who you got little for giving up a lot. And like this, in terms of what they got in return, it seems like a very like, oh shoot, this is like the only package we're going to get that really matters to us, so we need to make the move now. And they jumped the gun, similar to what I think Boston did with Jaylen Brown this offseason, because they just needed to get rid of him. And for some reason, they couldn't get the trade package that they probably should have gotten back in response. Myles Garrett should have been worth a couple of first rounders, and if not more than that. I mean, Dawson, how many first rounders do you, like 2, 3? Like I think
for Garrett.
Yeah. Like what would you expect? Because
I would have thought 2+, because you don't really see players get traded for more than that. Like, has there ever been a player that's been traded for 3 number ones?
That's a good question.
Other than like a trade up, like a trade up in the draft. I think teams have given up 3 number ones, but like
you should have at least gotten 2. Especially like you're going from if my opinion, if you're going up against the Rams in this situation, you should have the trade leverage in this. Like they want Myles Garrett. You should have been able to get another first rounder or something.
So you both are in agreement that the Rams like won this deal. I mean, obviously they got the best player involved, and we'll see what Cleveland does with these picks. But you guys are both like, you wouldn't have done this if you were Cleveland.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
safe to say?
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that you're talking to 2 fans of NFC West teams, but
right. But put your unbiased cap on.
I wouldn't have done it. I mean,
I feel like there's simply no way that this was the best possible return for Miles Garrett. For Miles Garrett, like there's just no way.
best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, Braden just said best defensive player of all time.
I mean,
I don't think that's that ridiculous to say.
no, I don't either.
It's not, but it caught me off guard because he's not someone that you immediately think is in that conversation.
But
Like
it's
when it
because he's
first
from
comes to
Cleveland,
mind.
though.
But now, like if he ends up going to like the Rams and winning the Super Bowl this year, then he gets put in a different category. Like he's
If
a
he
no
even-
doubt top 3 to the end of all time, in my
Dude,
opinion.
I mean, he just broke the sack record. I'm not saying he's going to compete for that again, but like, he can flirt with it again.
Like I feel as far as like edge goes, because it kind of feels like every position kind of has its own like list, and it's hard to like judge cross reference that because they just ask so many like different things of like each position. Like who would you say is above Miles Garrett? Like Lawrence Taylor?
Lawrence Taylor, maybe. I mean, I think Aaron Donald, but I think Aaron Donald's more of a D tackle than he is a D end.
More
Because
of a
Aaron Donald
tackle
was.
than yeah.
So if you're talking just pure edge rusher, I think he's in that Lawrence.
We can throw D line together because I mean Miles Garrett kind of did both as well.
I mean, this guy didn't break the sack record, but like Reggie White. I mean, Reggie White in his heyday. I'm not saying Garrett isn't one of the greatest defensive ends of all time, but I just feel like I need to see him do something with the Rams and really impact winning. And I know football it's a team sport, so like Cleveland's offense has been an absolute disaster the last few years, so I get that. But he needs to have like a signature playoff moment. Like, let's say we get a rematch of the NFC title game this upcoming season, and Garrett gets like a crucial strip sack on Sam Darnold, and that's his moment that he will forever be remembered for the Rams. I'm just saying he needs something like that for me personally to put him in that GOAT edge rusher tier, if you know what I'm saying.
I feel like he can just play his style of football, and I feel like some people don't realize how big of a deal this is that he's on the Rams. Like again, it might be just the NFC West side of me speaking up, but like I really don't think some people have fully comprehended what this might mean for literally the entire league that he's on the Rams. Like if Braden said that he is the greatest defender of all time, or at least there's an argument for that, and he's been on the Browns his entire career, I feel like that speaks louder than anything. Like, that's crazy. He's never really had a chance to be on a title contending team, and now we're putting him with a team that was a few plays away from a Super Bowl last year and has won a Super Bowl in this decade. Like, good Lord.
I would say one of Seattle's biggest weakness, or not Seattle, one of Los Angeles' biggest weaknesses was their run defense. And they just got quite possibly the best run defender in the league.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I don't think Cleveland got. I think you guys are making it seem like Cleveland got fleeced, and I think Cleveland got a fair return. I don't think they got 120 cents on the dollar, but I think it was a pretty even trade for both sides because even Jared Verse is a really good ball player, and he's going to be the focal point now on Cleveland. So maybe his stats will diminish because, like with the Rams, there was Byron Young, and then there was Braden Fisk on that defensive line. They're able to assist Jared Verse, and now it's him, and that's really it. So we'll see. You got one more thing?
I'm trying to. I just, again, I go back to I feel like in this situation, which is weird because they're the worst team, Cleveland should have had all the advantage in this situation because it was a big weak spot that the Rams were able to get literally the best return that they could have gotten.
Remember, though, Garrett had a no trade clause. So Garrett determined his own destiny. He determined where he was going to go. So I think there was only like 2 or 3 teams he was willing to waive that trade clause for, and one of them was the Rams. So at that point, when you figure out you only have 2 or 3 other teams to trade with, and the Rams are obviously all in, chips are in the table, they're letting this season ride, and they traded for McDuffie, they traded for Garrett, all of those. So I don't think other teams are willing to give up the asking price, and I still feel like Verse is worth the first and maybe a third if you're just looking at pick value for what you could get for Verse. So I still feel like Cleveland did okay, but
all I will say is remember what happened last time. Los Angeles went all in.
Yeah, so that is not, you're not wrong there. Any other thoughts on the Browns? I have one more question I want to ask for you guys, but any other thoughts on the Garrett being traded away?
I think this team could be fun to watch.
Aaron Donald, you've had a nice, comfortable retirement. You're not putting more miles on your body. Just enjoy Cancun, man. Enjoy life. You don't have to be big, mad, scary man all the time. You can just enjoy peace and tranquility. Don't come back. We're good.
All right. Last question for the Browns. Where do you guys see them falling in the AFC North? Like, give me your ceiling record for them and your floor record. Like, and then I guess most realistic. So give me like a range of outcomes you think the Browns could have for this upcoming season.
I have my floor for the Browns at 1 win. 1. This team's only bright spot was Myles Garrett and like half a second of Shedeur Sanders, who they're not even going to start next year.
Yeah.
Jared Verse is like 60% of Myles Garrett on his best day versus Myles Garrett's worst. And, I mean, you look at the schedule, like, I mean, maybe the Jets is winnable. Maybe the Titans is winnable. Maybe the Raiders are winnable.
I don't know. Raiders are low-key frisky.
That's the thing. Like, this is the Browns. They could easily lose at least 2 of those games.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, the Browns are going to win. They're going to go 0-17. Like, that feels a little crazy even for a floor. I will say they could slip and fall into a win at some point.
Yeah.
Ceiling, I have them at, like, if things start to click, like Todd Monken really gets the guys going, they start making good personnel moves, and the receivers end up doing well, they could maybe squeak out like 8 wins, 8 or 9. At absolute ceiling, I mean absolute ceiling. Things would have to go about perfectly. Realistically, probably, I don't know, maybe a win or 2 worse than last year, so like 4-13.
Rock?
I had the floor kind of similar at 1 win. I mean, there's nothing more to add to that. Ceiling, I didn't really have, like, I had peak ceiling right around 6, so not too far off from what Braden has. But as a whole, I kind of have them at like 3-14. And as you will see as we continue on this episode, I do not believe in the last 2 teams in this division this year at all. So around 3-14, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. I think that might be pushing it for the Browns this year.
So I have all of the over-unders set. Like, I have them off to the side. just because it's a pretty good indication of how the general public feels about certain teams. Cleveland's over under win total for this season
Is it 5?
is 5.5. So the public's more bullish on the Browns than what we're giving them credit for. Because I agree. I don't know if I have 4 necessarily at 1 win, but I think 3-14, and that's like disaster season. Like you end up having to play like Taylor Green a little bit at quarterback, which I think would be cool for like a game for Browns fans, but then it would just immediately turn into a disaster. And then ceiling, even like a perfect scenario, I still don't think they only win 6 games. Just I don't think this roster. Now they do have some young bright spots on the offensive side, and they have like Denzel Ward and Carson Sweat. Like I don't know.
I think you're going to be in shootouts more. If your offense for some reason is clicking, I feel like your defense is going to be the ones that end up losing you
And,
more games.
and you don't have Garrett anymore to get after the quarterback when you
Exactly.
potentially have a lead, which for the Browns was few and far between, but now it's even more few and far between. So I would set my ceiling for them at 7, but I think the 4. I don't know. I feel like 3 wins is an appropriate 4, but I don't think they're close. Realistically, I don't think they're going to hit that 5.5 win total. But that's a me thing. I could see them exactly with the same record as they had last year. But
They can be a fun team this year. I feel like on the offensive side to watch because I feel like there's some players that could potentially show that they're future stars of the league of some sort. Not necessarily all pros, but maybe guys that can compete on a weekly basis that can make some noise and at least threaten some teams. I think there will be a couple teams that get threatened, if not trip up against this Browns team if the offense is clicking. But of course, the offense somehow starts clicking. They figure out everything. Their defensive side of the ball needs to be able to catch up, and not having all reliable anymore is going to be an issue.
yeah.